Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Building the Future AI Portugal podcast, the podcast where we talk about different topics related to AI and machine learning. My name is Marco Antonio Silva, and you already know my good friends and partners in this initiative, José Antonio Silva. Hi, José Antonio. Hi, and Vitor Santos. Hi, Vitor.
Hello.
Hi. For those of you that have been our listeners for a long while, you probably already guessed why I'm talking in English again. So it is because we have another amazing guest today to join us in our conversation about how AI is shaping augmented reality, virtual reality, and mixed reality. She's an innovation evangelist at 3XM Group, a Microsoft MVP for AI. She was part of the Microsoft development platform evangelist team in Argentina, and she's Ivana Tilca. Thank you very much, Ivana, for joining our conversation today, and it's a huge pleasure to have you as our guest.
Hi, Marco. Hello, everyone. It's a pleasure to meet you guys, especially to talk about AI, which I can see that is something that everyone in here loves. So I'm here to start chatting, guys.
Thank you so much, Ivana. So it's not easy to find people that take on both AI and computer graphics / mixed reality tech. So strap up your, and especially if you're driving. So if you're driving, do strap in for safety. But this is going to be an amazing conversation. So let's start our discussion today on this on the obvious topic that we're talking today. Like, it's going to be about how AI really, in some way, in the past couple of years, changed mixed reality and how it eventually made it more relevant because we're seeing it everywhere. So I'm gonna throw out this first point because I think it's the obvious elephant in the room is what changed in AI that made mixed reality more aggressive and more everywhere. We're seeing it everywhere, right? So Ivana, we want to take this one?
Yeah, sure. So I always try to think on where mixed reality started. Like it started like 10 years ago with HoloLens 1, but it didn't explode until today, until the last couple of years. And I truly believe it's because of AI. And you're wondering why this combination of mixed reality and artificial intelligence. But the thing is, HoloLens, which is the main device that works with mixed reality, has better potential and better scenarios to use the technology when it can identify the scenario in which it is surrounded, the device is surrounded. Mm-hmm. And that's one of the basic things about AI, to understand everything around you, like if it was like human capabilities. Okay, so I think that's why it exploded in the last couple of years, because we are seeing artificial intelligence being used and not being afraid anymore, because everyone says, okay, artificial intelligence is going to take over the world and stuff. But I think that a lot of companies are seeing the potential that understanding the data that we already have or understanding our environment is bringing to their business. So putting that together with holograms in order to display information has an amazing and incredible cost reduction in training, in selling, in marketing. And we are talking about mixed reality and HoloLens, but we are forgetting also augmented reality, because we have most of the people all over the world have a cell phone. And augmented reality is also being empowered by AI. So I think it's a cheaper investment for bigger results, I would say.
Because it's already there, right? It's already in the hardware is already there.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know what you guys think about it.
Yeah. Vitor, do you want to jump in? So because I remember when this started and AI started, we were things like AR toolkit was something that we were very much used, and computer vision, the OpenCV library toolkit was very much used, and still today is still very much used.
It is,
right?
Yeah, yes.
What do you think that changed here?
Well, I agree with what Ivana said because I really think that what makes difference in the use of AI in the virtual reality, augmented reality, and mixed reality is exactly the way how this technology interact with the environment. Mm-hmm. So if you want to have a better mixed reality, one key thing is the environment because you are putting virtual objects in together with real, let's say. Well, then we can discuss what is real because it's not so easy.
Yeah, but it is not something that you can touch, so it's kind of.
Yes, it should be real or not if you cannot touch. Well, your St. Thomas, said believe, see to believe, right? But we don't know exactly what it exactly means. But well, what I mean is that one interesting thing in the mixed now talking exactly about mixed reality is the way how these types of objects, the virtuals and the real ones, let's say this way, can interact. And it means that you need to understand the environment, the place, and all the actors that are in place. So I think that is completely different from what we had. Also, another thing that I believe that makes a lot of difference from what was virtual reality in the beginning with the old VR, if you remember, VRM systems, very old, that when you were using, a headset, then you got an headache because the motion was so slow that it was impossible to wear this type of headsets. But one thing that I think that changed a lot was the hardware itself. So we have faster hardware, and we also have, by having these opportunities, we have the opportunity to have artificial intelligence algorithms in the architectures of the mixed and the virtual reality, and it makes the difference. So, in my opinion, probably we are watching now the age of virtual reality. And believe me that it was, let's say, a postponed promise because we are supposed to watch the virtual reality age 20 years ago or 10 years ago, and now we are supposed to watch this thing today. I'm being too optimistic, maybe.
I don't know. And Zetor, I remember, and this is a funny topic because I think the first time that we met was around gaming and in a conference in Porto with Veronica and everything around computer graphics, and at the time XNA was a thing. And
Veronica also from Argentina.
Yeah, exactly, from Argentina as well.
Nice.
Fantastic person.
And I remember this we met on the conference that she was talking about game development and everything. So I think there's a lot of use cases here that changed from there to where we are now. We're talking about business and we're talking about remote assistance and we're talking so many things. What's your thoughts? What changed on that part as well?
I think a lot of people, a lot of pioneers probably suffered a lot to start this movement, and they had to lift a lot of things to be able to build the first experiences. What I'm really curious, Ivana, is what kind of scenarios you're starting to see being applied. Not the marketing ones like the events or show off, but the practical things you've been discovering that are possible to start getting some results and actually be able to achieve something valuable, right?
Most people, when they think about mixed reality, and you mentioned it, Marco, just about a second ago, are games, okay? They think, okay, it's another headset, it's another virtual reality headset that the only thing that it puts holograms on top of reality, and that's it. But actually, there is a huge need of this kind of devices. Just let me picture you the situation that right now we have in the world. We don't have the possibility to travel. We don't have the possibility to be a lot of people in the same place. We don't have the possibility, if you have a factory, you don't have the possibility for all your customer to get inside your factory and check all the different cards, for example, that you have for selling, to understand the equipment or machines that you want to sell, if you're like a big factory, for example. And one of the most important thing also is you don't have the possibility to train all the people in your company like you used to, because you cannot put them inside a room and train them all together. Those scenarios are something that the world situation right now is facing, and that can be solved by creating mixed reality applications. And you are wondering, okay, how do you do this? Okay, first of all, you put your heads, and as you mentioned it, Marco, remote assistant. You can have someone on their computer pointing you with the machine, in case you are someone that buys, for example, an equipment, and you are in a different country, and if a different place in which the company, the secure company, is going to be helping you, cannot help you by being far away, and they can just call you and point you, okay, touch that button, move that piece to one place to another. But of course, everyone is saying, yes, but I need to have a HoloLens in order to do that. And the investment to have a HoloLens is much more bigger than the benefits that I get. But a lot of companies are buying HoloLens and sending HoloLens to their customer for the installation of equipment, and their customers are returning the HoloLens once they are using it. That's one scenario. But we have at 3XM, we are working with another interesting scenario, interesting example of used. There is one factory that has a special room that they have all this kind of chemical stuff on it, and they can only enter that room once a year, and that's it. So they need to train people in order to work inside that room that only moment of the year. And how do you do that if you don't have the possibility to put everyone in there to learn at the same time? And also, what happens if something, a risky situation happens when they are inside the room? They are not trained on how to solve it pretty fast. So that's one of the key scenarios that you can see this technology applies pretty straightforward. Not only because someone can be inside of the room and everyone can see like they were inside the room, but you can also create a digital twin space of that room and make people work like if they were inside the room, and create scenarios like in a game, like in any game. Let's see what happens if this risky situation happens inside the room. How would people react? And not only that, but you can also, talking about what Victor said about data, you can understand all the movements of the people that are facing that situation and learn from that. Okay, which one is the easiest way that took less in order to solve that problem inside that room? And that's what you will train the other people that are going to be working on that room. So that's one of the scenarios that I love, that scenario, because it like points all the different packages that you have. But now imagine that this company, because it's a huge company, has this room in the USA, has this room in Japan, has this room in Europe. And they can also use artificial intelligence to automatically translate everything to all the people around the world in real time. So the possibility to teach everyone in that specific scenario is extremely powerful. So that's one of the main scenarios that I'm seeing around. And not only to mention a couple, because we have a lot. Luckily, this is going to be huge in the next couple of months.
Totally. I would like to, Marco, if you let me, I would like to extend what Ivana just said to the culture world. One thing that I really like is how technology can help the democracy and how technology can help to make the culture more accessible. And you can imagine someone that lives in a poor zone, for instance, in India, to visit Louvre Museum by using virtual reality. But you can also imagine a blind person to use virtual reality to see with commas Mona Lisa. If you are able to translate 2D in 3D, So you'll be able not to see, but to feel Mona Lisa. So I think this technology, like you said, has a strong power of being used in different contexts, including the culture.
Yeah, we're talking about accessibility now, and it's another point that I think both AI and mixed reality, augmented reality could really help. And we've been seeing a lot of things coming out with cell phones and AR using computer vision and well, deep learning to build models that can interpret reality and then throw it back to the user as in voice for someone that is blind, for instance, or even help you guide through a museum and find yourself inside a long large space that you want to go and see another piece or go into a meeting room that it's the first time that you're in the building. This happens a lot in Microsoft, for instance. You're going to a new building in a new country and you
a lot. Microsoft is huge.
And it helps to have a map, but an interactive map, and augmented reality, mixed reality can solve these types of problems, and it's not that expensive. You were saying about the hardware, and sometimes we only think mixed reality. I love that point that you put, Ivana, that it's not HoloLens. It's more than that. There's other devices that are capable, and with that, I think we just need to shift the way that we think about mixed reality. We think about AI and try to leverage both and really help, because one thing is to have holograms, and we were talking about teaching and how to collect that data. That could be possible with the transcripts and other things, and then think about the full experience and not just the physical experience, and that small shift could really enhance the potential of both technologies together. What do you think?
Yeah, absolutely. And to mention something, we are forgetting about an important device that also is available, not only HoloLens, but Azure Connect.
Yep.
Azure Connect has the same sensors that has HoloLens too. So it has I'm streaming from an Azure Connect. It has it has the depth sensors, it has the IR sensors, and the most important thing, talking about accessibility, is that not only Azure Connect but also HoloLens 2 can understand gestures, can understand the movement of the person, have the possibility to understand the depth. So they know if the hands is getting closer to an object or if they are getting far away. And for someone that is interacting in a room, for example, and has no visibility, cannot see, by putting a Kinect in the room, we can understand what that person is doing and guide them. Okay, so not only I'm not talking about guiding them through a camera with the sounds. No, the artificial intelligence from Azure Connect can understand the distance and the movements of the person inside the room, and we can develop a program that can guide that person in order and read their gesture and their movements inside the room with a camera, not only by wearing a HoloLens, right? So, and imagine if you could replace all the cameras. Let's keep talking about Microsoft, about Seattle, that they have like tons of buildings. If you would put Azure Connects in all the buildings, you could understand and read holograms from all the people over there. And you could create a 3D environment of the entire city and move them and make people see themselves like as if they were on Microsoft neighborhood in other place. And I think if you guys saw it, they show it in an event in another that digital twin scenario.
Yeah. Holoportation. I love the term that they created. Holoportation. We invent these terms. It's so cool.
And that's why my head starts. My head is boring right now.
I have a question because I feel that once we start talking about these kind of things, some of our customers are going to ask, how about privacy? How many cameras are you bringing to each situation in our environment? And how do we solve here the questions of people feeling comfortable with having cameras pointing everywhere in a room or in a factory, in a workplace environment?
Good point.
Have you seen that kind of concern?
No, with the camera, because right now most of the factory already have cameras. Most of the factories, they already IoT driven. like I said. But I do feel like people are a little bit scared if you're talking about putting cameras in the streets and that stuff. But we always have to remember the AI principles that Microsoft and all the companies have. Okay, so I think we need to trust technology. At one point we were scared of I don't know. I remember my father when I was younger. He always was, no, I don't want to install software on my computer because they are stealing my information. And they were scared of that at that moment. And right now we are in a phase of transition and evolution that we need to adapt to the innovation that is coming to us. It's going to help us after all. The job is going to be easier. We are going to learn even much more than we knew that we could learn. There is one interesting, I know it's not about mixed reality, but I'm pretty sure you guys saw that scenario. I think I don't know if you guys know Shell,
the petrol company.
Yeah. So they put camera and AI in order to avoid a risky situation with people with cigarettes on. And if you put a human watching 30 cameras, they won't be able to catch all the possible problems that you can have instead of putting AI helping the human over there. So I think that we need to start telling people that AI and mixed reality it's going to improve us as human beings. It's not going to be something that is going to turn into Terminator and kill everyone. so I think that we are pretty far away from that moment. There is also one, I don't know if you guys saw it, but there was a news about hologram of a dead kiddo that they created a hologram. I think it was in Japan or China that they created a hologram of a dead girl and they show it to her mom. So the mother was with the HoloLens and she could see and interact with a hologram. Yeah, with her kids created by both mixed reality and AI. And everyone on the news, at least in Argentina, were talking about how damage can that be for how much psychological damage can cause that to the mother and everyone that sees a hologram. And there is a discussion in there, but someone told me on a session that I was giving the other day, it's important that we start asking those questions now.
Yeah.
And not being scared of what can happen. Okay, if we see the problem in there, let's start talking about how can we avoid those situations. And as I said, it's innovation, and we need to start thinking on how to adapt that innovation to us instead of being scared to that.
Yeah, for sure. And to that point, I'm just gonna add one thing that in terms of what is privacy, and I'm gonna circle back to your point that in just a second, but just to the point that Ivana was saying about the dead person. I didn't know that news, but it reminds me of the discussion that happens in around what should I or shouldn't I do just because I can. And this is a discussion in terms of science fiction that happens a lot, and we're mapping all of this. You're talking about Terminator and stuff like that. So the worst things were explored in science fiction, and we're sometimes stuck to the vision that came from the movies. And then we don't ask the right questions because we don't talk about it. We just map that to Terminator, Apocalypse, or something like that. The same thing about the coming back and holograms of people that are dead, or even people that exist. And we're talking about deep fakes now and stuff like that. In terms of in science fiction, for instance, most of the things that were well done, they thought about it a little bit and said, okay, it should be laws that robots and androids and stuff like that shouldn't resemble anyone that ever lived. It should be a new face for him. And I'm not saying that
yes,
they figured it out.
Theory, right?
Exactly. But the thing is, we thought a little bit about this, and it's not that we had the pure discussion. We should have, but we shouldn't map that to movies. This is my personal thoughts, because we need to have the discussion, realize what's wrong and what's right at the present moment where we are, that we're facing now, finally, these types of topics that we need to approach.
But
And
Mark,
to the point of privacy. Yeah, go for it.
Just to say something against or different. Do you remember Total Recall? Actually, there are Total Recall with Arnold Schwarzenegger, and then a different version in 2012 or something like that.
Yeah, I think it was.
But Total Recall was about virtual reality. It was really interesting because after the end of the movie, so you are watching the movie, and then you don't. In the end, you have a doubt. What is true? What is, let's say, false in terms of reality? But let me say something in the opposite direction. You know that sometimes some of the things that exist on science that emerge from the literature and from the movies. Just to give a very old-fashioned example, Jules Verne. Almost two centuries ago, he talked about the nuclear energy, for instance, and to go to the moon and so on. So sometimes the movies, even if they are completely, let's say, crazy, or they appear to be crazy, they can inspire the science. And
innovation.
Innovation. I remember to watch Space. It was something like Space 1999 or something like that, where they have some doors that were able to open when you get close to the door. And so was amazing. Now you have this type of doors in everywhere.
Yeah, I agree on that.
And sometimes these crazy ideas can inspire us. But
for sure.
We need what is too crazy. Yeah.
But circling back a little bit to the privacy point, just not to go too far from it. I think what Zeta also was saying, and it makes a lot of sense, is my privacy in terms of the cameras that are installed in the Kinect could be a camera that would be like a HoloLens, but it would be fixed and I would see it, but it's on the space. One thing is me having a helmet that has a camera that's pointing outwards towards everybody else, and I'm processing that with AI and trying to figure out things like and this vision happened to have been implemented, I think, in 2008 to 2009, but never got really massively implemented to detect who am I looking at is in front of me and project augmented reality in my helmet and saying, oh, look, this is Ivana, here's her profile, this is the last message that you exchange and stuff like that, and even try to mine that information a little bit more. And am I comfortable with having that much power on someone else's head about myself? I think that's a good question as well. It's an enablement. But
yeah, but I think I'm pretty sure that we need to think on that. I don't know if any company already did it, but what I am seeing is a lot of companies are already about to launch glasses with augmented reality. And also there's a famous company that is connected to a social media. I think pretty sure you guys know which one is it. It is that, imagine, it already has all the information of people that I know from my social media and can connect that to the glasses. So everything online is asking for your permission. I believe that at some point it will ask for your permission. Would you like to share that with everyone that has glasses and that sees you can see? And you will have the possibility to say, okay, I'm single. I'm not single, for example. Okay. And you can be with a heartbroken walking on the street if anyone has a glasses or something like that. But I think we will get to that point. I don't think we are yet over there. But there is also, we are talking about glasses, we are talking about devices, but I think it was in January, and I think it was, I'm not going to say names, but brands better. It's brands, not names. There is a car company that already included artificial intelligence in the glasses of the car, so that AI can, with augmented reality, inform you if there is something in top of the car or if there is something risky going closer to the car. And that also has camera sensors and is watching everything. So we are getting there already. And truly want to believe that companies are thinking about privacy also. Anyway, connecting people, names of people, and personal information to everything that is running on the car, I think it's different because there would be an amazing work that we need to do with the cloud and all the information that we have in the cloud. And I think right now all the companies that are investing on augmented reality are just about putting applications that can inform things on the devices instead of understanding people around them, but more understanding space around them.
Yeah. Spatial mapping is an amazing thing, and AI got really strong on that on the last couple of years, and it's amazing. It's not that hardware has evolved. It has. It's more. There's more definition in an infrared mapping of space. It's more fine-tuned, but still, there's a lot of software on top of this that's enabled things like HoloLens to map a space just by looking around, and it gets a good calibration. I think it's amazing. I think that's a huge evolution in terms of and towards holograms being massively used versus virtual helmets and VR, as we were talking in the beginnings of this movement towards massive VR. I think massive VR was Zetod was saying it was a little bit not what they expected. It didn't deliver what was promised. It's more than that. I think it's exploded in a different direction.
I still believe lots of these technologies are introduced in strange ways sometimes, like the mouse and Minesweeper, the game, and Solitaire, the game, was used as a way to teach people to start using the mouse. And I think some of these technologies that are available nowadays in a smartphone, people are doing potato avatars with augmented reality, but the thing is, we are deploying the hardware, right? And it's becoming more pervasive, and new applications will use this in the future to create better experiences, more products, whatever we will need to do with this. I'm not afraid of this kind of technology. I also drive a car with lots of cameras, and I know it's for some things. For other people, it may look like a privacy issue, but it's actually very useful. You can go back 15 seconds and save a clip from an accident. You can understand better what happened. You have a different perspective of any robbery. It's useful once you start needing this. And we said here some technologies like the internet. I remember turning on location on mobile phones was something that people were very afraid of doing until the day they lost the phone. And actually, it was very useful to find the phone because that feature was there turned on. Of course, there's companies doing abusing of the information, and that's where we hope these players, at least the ones that have more responsibility, are being governed by good principles and initiatives to make sure that we are doing the right thing with the technology. But we are deploying new technology everywhere.
That's all. You are more optimistic than myself.
Go ahead, Peter.
I just said that you are too optimistic. But okay, I hope that you're right.
Yeah, me too. I'm also an optimist. And before moving to the next segment, I just wanted to put out there something that also shifting is we're accepting this technology, right? And I would love to hear your take on this, because Ivana, you've been working more than any of us in this virtual sofa that we're in now on this conversation. We're accepting more and more this type of user experience, this type of technology, and not just the hardware. We're talking about hardware, but now I'm talking about the experience. We expect more of this type of experience in the future than we ever did, and maybe we'll expect even more in the upcoming years. What's your take on this? Final thoughts.
Before we started the session, I told you guys we needed a selling person in here because For me, it was so difficult to approach customers with this technology because they usually tell me, but I cannot touch what you're selling me. Like they understand that there is, for example, a training platform with holograms. They understand what it is. They understand the benefits and everything, but it's like they still cannot embrace the hologram like part of their routine and adding holograms to their processes. But it's I think it's, as you said, they are accepting it. They started, okay, let's, from my point of view and from my experience and my company's experience, so they say let's create a proof of concept first. Once they see it, they see their product in augmented or virtual or mixed reality, they buy it. They understand the benefits. Once you have the possibility to touch, I know that this sounds kind of crazy, but you have the possibility to touch a hologram and move a hologram. And when they see that, and they imagine all the amount of investment in actually creating that, for example, engine, okay, the solar all the investment that they are not putting, but they are just seeing the model in a 3D hologram, and they are going to see how that engine finishes after it is produced. It's like, okay, I want it. You show me that I'm going to save a lot of money. I want it. And they are embracing it. They are accepting this. The marketing teams in all the companies also, because they see that people interacting with the experience of having their products on front of them without going to a place and see it. For example, I think it's IKEA that has the application that you can put your sofa on your living room with a hologram and see how it fits. And they say, okay, that's what we want. So the world is going to adapt even faster than we think. It happens, as I told you guys, in the last couple of years since I started with this. And right now we have a lot of companies reaching out to us, luckily. But this is going to be better. And what's coming in the future? I think I'm going to talk about an article I just sent you guys over there. Microsoft you mentioned holoportation a couple of minutes ago.
Well, we can go to that on the next segment.
Okay, great. So that's coming. That's coming,
yeah,
guys.
That's coming. And you remind me of something, Ivana. This like your description reminded me of when phones came out. None of us needed them. Now we can't live without them. The need came from the evolution of technology, because to think about, I'm going to call someone, I don't call him, and just go around and talk to him. But now we call each other in the same space sometimes. So it became a necessity. It became the default. It became the thing that we're expecting. Maybe that's where we're at. We're in the changing moment where holograms will be like cell phones in 10 years from now.
I love to be in this innovation period. I love it.
I'm actually being told to turn off the phone on the table. So
me too.
That's good. So let's move to our next segment. Welcome to our segment, AI News, the segment that is part of the end of our episodes where we share different news articles or links that we found interesting in the past couple of weeks. And we share it with you with our comments and our vision about the articles. We don't read the articles, but we include all the links in the description of this episode. So if you want to read the full article, just check out the description and you'll find the links. Ivana, as our guest, I'll hand it over to you to open our segment today. What news article, what link did you brought to us?
Okay, it is not from a couple of weeks, this one, but I think it's important in order for the topic we chose for this session. So this one is Microsoft news. You will find it on Microsoft website. The link is, I think it's in the description right now. And its name, you can actually feel like you're in the same place with Microsoft Mesh powers shared experiences in mixed reality. So this is an article that describes a technology that Microsoft presented on March on Ignite, on Microsoft Ignite, which is the big event that we have that we can see from all over the world. Microsoft presented this technology in which not only you can be with other people as holograms and interact with them, but you can also be an avatar and be on the same room with other people and interact with them. And I will use a couple of quotes of the article. So once Alex Kipman, which as you guys may probably know is the creator of HoloLens 2 and HoloLens 1, of course, he says that this has been the dream for mixed reality and the idea from the beginning. So this was the main goal. This is not yet launched. You cannot get into testing Microsoft Mesh unless you have a HoloLens. You can test the application if you have a HoloLens. There is a link in the article to install the application, and you can interact with other people from all over the world as you guys were on the same room. And you can see each other's hands and see how other one is laughing or closing their eyes and everything, not only in an avatar, but also it can be, if you have an Azure Connect, you can do it with your own hologram. So you could be anywhere in the world, joining with your friends and drinking and partying and whatever you need. Of course, also have business meeting, which is also a nice scenario. But so this is an important article because the news is that this is coming, it's just around the corner. And I have luckily, I'm a Microsoft MVP and I have access to all the information that Microsoft Mesh is about to launch. And trust me, guys, if you are thinking about developing with holograms and mixed reality and AI, you need to check out this article because, as I told you, it's around the corner.
So good. Thank you so much, Ivana, for sharing. I remember Kipman in the session using the holoportation and the mesh to like dance around in the virtual world. It's so, well.
Yeah, I was an administrator in that event, so we were in the back end with Alex trying to let people in, shutting down people for them not to speak while Alex was speaking, and yeah, it was so fun.
Okay, that seems intense. So much fun. So cool. Thank you for sharing, Ivana. Zeto, what you bring for us today?
Well, so today I have a very recent link. GitHub just shared a new tool, Copilot. It's a kind of AI-based pair programmer, like IntelliCode and many other attempts to do code generators based on the context. The interesting part here, this is based on the investment Microsoft has done on OpenAI and the GPT-3 descendants, and this is based on OpenAI codex. So it's really powerful. From what I've seen, we just need to write a comment in the code of what we want to achieve, and it can read the comment and start suggesting snippets of code to build your function, whatever you need to implement, based on millions and millions of lines of code that are already shared somewhere in the internet. So it's a very interesting thing. If you're learning a language, this is very useful. For example, if you're investing on Python or you want to learn Go, this is a very good way of getting an assistant to teach you to program. But even for experienced programmers, I've seen comments of people saying that they learn things from these recommendations, better ways of doing the same thing they were thinking of. So it's something, it's free. You should try, and it's a very practical thing based on the evolution of this kind of models.
Yeah, for sure. And I think this could be maybe an upcoming topic for us to discuss, the code generation with AI, because I think it's coming in next.
It's a good idea.
I think it's a good
I will
idea.
support this idea.
Vitor, yourself, what do you bring for us today?
Well, I found a very interesting article called "The Robot Smile Back." And what is this about? Well, this is about a robot. Well, first of all, this is something that is related with effective computing. And it means that, the idea is when you are interacting with a robot, that you have some empathy, or at least you like to have some empathy from the robot. as it will, in some circumstances, like in a hospital or some other situations, you prefer to feel empathy from the robot. That is a serious problem that we have with interaction with these artificial robots. But what is interesting is that this robot is able to learn with itself. So is able to recombine its own image with the image of the human of a human, and then to understand what are the situations, the different expressions that the human have in different situations. So he is able to learn to change his expressions, and this is an interesting thing because in a way the robot is not just learning to perform some complex task, but is learning, let's say, to change his expressions in order to gain empathy. So in a way, we are talking about a representation task. So the robot is learning to be an actor. So if you feel that you are feeling sad with something, then the robot will change his face in order to show you some empathy, and you feel and you like that. So it's really, yes, really, in terms of effective computing, is really different. Yeah, and I love the idea of the robot itself.
It looks a little bit like it looks a little bit like reinforcement learning, right? Type of approach.
Yes, yes. The robot is learning with itself, having some feedback, but also learning with the human factors.
Okay.
In a way, this is interesting. It's a little different from what we are used to in terms of the effective computing.
Okay. Very interesting. We didn't plan this, but the article that I brought is about humor in AI. So it's for those of you that are listening, we don't plan the articles between us. So I think me and Vitor are reading about the same thing. So funny enough. So I brought you an article that I found very interesting about AI in terms of humor and the role of humor in AI and how it could maybe be studied and be evolving. And the article approaches the topic in three main parts, and it's very cool. It's very short. It's like a 5-minute read. I found some stuff that I didn't know that were out there. Things like the haha challenge, the human analysis on human annotation, and it's very funny, haha. But this is a competition that basically studies the Iberian language, the Latin language, Portuguese, Spanish, and tries to detect in humor in tweets that are made in Spanish. So there's also same thing in English, and they're trying to figure out things like sarcasm and the intent of being funny in a tweet. So which tweets mean to be funny, and yeah, it's trying to teach humor to in a sense, it's trying to teach humor to a machine. It's very, very interesting and teachable honoris assistants that basically trying to teach humor as a goal of a research that tries to teach people using humor on a bot, for instance, trying to being self-critic and stuff like that. In the type of interaction that the bot has with the students that are trying to explore a different some topic that they're learning, he tries to also put in humor to help amplify the teaching moment. And this is something that normal bots don't do, right? The normal bots try to be funny as, hey, someone bot, tell me a joke, and you will just get out of a library and just point out some joke. But this is different. This is trying to contextualize in the teaching moments some jokes or some funny moments to not be so boring, basically, like you would expect from a human. So it's very interesting how they're approaching humor. Never thought about this, and I got this in my feed, and I was like, okay, I'm intrigued. So sharing with you guys. Take a look and maybe share anything else that you're finding about humor science that you're finding funny around the internet about this topic, because I would enjoy reading it.
Yeah, you're right. It's connect with empathy too. But it's very, very interesting. This I'll check for sure. But I would like to add that to have humor is a very important way to be intelligent. Stupid people that are not able to have humor. So if you are able to have bots that are that have humor, that means that it's a way of being intelligent. It's interesting, really interesting.
Good
Thank
point.
you for.
Good point. Good point. So, and that's all the time we had. My name is Marco Antonio Silva, and you've been listening to the Building the Future AI Portugal podcast, the podcast where we talk about AI in casual and informal conversations, but with a lot of content and ideas. We would like to just thank I would like to just thank my partners in crime for this initiative, for another amazing episode. Thank you, Vitor Santos. Thank you.
Thank you too. Thank you.
Thank you.
It was a pleasure as
Thank
always,
you,
and
Ivana.
a lot of fun.
Thank you, Zeto, as well. It's always a pleasure to have these chats with you. Special thanks to our amazing guest, Ivana Tilca, for an amazing conversation. I really enjoyed having you as our guest, learning from you a lot, and from your energy, from your perspectives, from your examples. So it was an amazing episode. I think everybody from our listeners will agree. A heartfelt thank you to you, Ivana. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
And of course, a huge thank you to our listeners for your support, for being on the other side of this conversation. It's for you that we build this content. So thank you very much. And congratulations to Ivana for all the work that she does in the community, as an MVP, as a woman in tech, especially in the field of AI. I think you're an inspiration as well. So I just wanted to give a shout out and underline that fact, because kudos to you, Ivana. And you guys, don't forget, check out Ivana's profile, follow her work. I assure you won't regret it. So you should follow her. And if you have any feedback, ideas, suggestions, just ping us, reach out via email to podcast@buildingthefuture.pt. We love always to get your thoughts and ideas. It helps us move towards what you guys want and need in terms of content. Stay tuned for our next episode in the usual 2 weeks. Until then, thank you for listening, and let's continue to activate Portugal and build a better future with technology. Thank you, guys.